Raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony given in the matter now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. If you could introduce yourself to the jury, please.
My name's Cassandra Ryan, but I go by Cassie.
Okay. And Ms. Ryan, what do you do?
I'm a teacher at Appalachia High School.
Okay. And how long have you been a teacher at Appalachia High School?
This is my 4th year there.
Okay. Were you a teacher there in September of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to take your attention specifically to that year. What did you have like a specific assignment of what you're supposed to do before school starts?
Yes, I had, we call it front loop duty, but basically we're just waving the students in the morning during their drop off.
Okay. And is that the bus entrance or the car rider entrance?
Car rider.
Okay. And then at first period, what do you do? Do you have a job then?
That was my first period planning, and I had a teacher that pushed into my classroom, so I just planned while he taught his class.
Okay. There's a map next to you. It's a kind of a partial map. Could you show the jury where, there should be like a little pointer.
This is? Okay.
Yeah, that's official. If you could show them what classroom you were in for first period. Okay. Is that the classroom you stayed in throughout the day?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not teaching this first period class?
I'm not.
Who is teaching that class?
Mr. I can't remember.
That's
his
okay.
name.
That's okay. So first period, you're not teaching?
No.
Okay. What about second period?
Yes.
Okay. What course are you teaching?
Algebra 1.
Okay. And is it in that same classroom?
Yes.
Okay. Is there another teacher in the room with you for second period?
Yes, Coach Edwards.
Okay. And why is Coach Edwards also in the class with you for that class?
It's a co-taught classroom, so there's one teacher in there that is the math certified teacher, that would be me, and then there is a special education certified teacher in the classroom because the roster has a significant amount of students that have specific learning disabilities that can range.
Okay. So Mr. Edwards would help those students out while you're teaching the entire class?
Yeah, he's in there to support them through the learning, mainly during like independent work.
Okay, thank you. So you showed the class that you have. Who's in the class next to you?
To the left or right?
As you're facing out of your door to your left.
Miss Greer.
Okay. And do you know Miss Greer?
I do.
Okay, how do you know her?
We started teaching together and we became friends as well.
Okay. Now, I want to take your attention to September 4th of that day. What were you doing when students came into your classroom?
I was standing at the front of the door because we had a new seating arrangement. We do that when we change units, and so we were going into Unit 2, so we change up the seating arrangements for the students.
So the kids have assigned seating?
They do.
Okay. And on that particular morning, you had changed the assigned seating?
Correct.
Okay. And how do you record this?
I made like a chart in Canva of the layout of my classroom, and all of my desks were numbered. And then I use the roster of my students and I list the seat number on that roster of each student.
Okay. I'm going to show you Smart State Exhibit number 67. Ask you to recognize what this is.
That's the roster that I used for various things, but there was the seating numbers on this as well.
Okay. So are you using that to check when they come in and also telling them where to sit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you. Does that accurately reflect the seating chart you had that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time on Tender State Exhibit number 67 in evidence.
No objection. 67 submitted.
Okay. I'm going to show you Mark State Exhibit number 37. Publish 67. So the numbers on the left are the seating numbers, or the ones on the right?
The numbers on the right.
Okay. That would be correspond to a seat in your.
Yes.
Okay. Show you Mark State Exhibit number 37. ask you to recognize what that is.
This is a roster of my classroom.
Okay. And were those the kids that were present in your classroom that day? September 4th, 2024.
Yes.
Okay. And were all of those students on that day under the age of 18?
Yes.
Was Stephen Edwards also in your room on September 4th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I tender State Exhibit number 37 into evidence this time.
Without objection. 37 is admitted.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what's marked as State Exhibit number 38. Ask you to identify what that is.
This is the seating chart layout that I created of my classroom.
Okay. Has names been added to the numbers?
Correct. Yes.
And are those names added to the numbers accurate as to where the children were assigned to be seated that day?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I tender State Exhibit number 38 into evidence.
Without objection.
So as we're looking at 38 on the screen, if you could identify first where the front door is.
Like the point.
Yeah, that you can use the pointer
Is that-
behind you.
Oh, okay.
We used to have it where you could touch the screen, but that seems more difficult. So the pointer would probably be better.
This is the door
Okay. And where would you generally be teaching from?
up here.
Okay. And where would Mr. Edwards be?
He wandered around the room, but this was his desk here.
Okay. Is the other desk your desk?
Yeah, like this is my desk, or that was my desk. This was his desk.
Okay. And he just wandered to whichever child needed his help at the time?
Yes,
Okay.
just kind of observed.
Did you, when the kids came into the classroom after you've assigned them their seat, do you do anything else with them as they're coming in?
We do a warm up, and so that is on the board for them to get their materials out to get started on the warm up while everyone's coming in.
Okay. And at some point, did y'all start class?
Yeah.
Okay. And what class again do you teach?
Algebra 1.
Algebra 1. Okay. How about was the class going that day? What's the structure of the class?
So we begin with a warm up, and then we kind of structure into the beginning part of our lesson. And I set timers on the board for students to be able to know like how much time they have for each specific part of our lesson. And then we would do about a 30-minute lesson and then go into like an independent practice time.
What's independent practice time?
Where they work on problems on their own. But this particular day, it was structured slightly different. So they had like 10-minute intervals where we were working through kind of difficult problems. The beginning of a unit is always typically the hardest because it's the first time they're seeing the material. And so the goal was to work through like chunking pieces of the material.
And when they're doing this individually?
No, they're able, so the reason why the groups are together is they're able to work with the people around them.
Okay. What are you doing while they're working on these things?
Typically when they're independently working, I'm circling the room just to kind of see where they're at, maintain behaviors, making sure they're staying on task, and helping any students that need help.
And is Mr. Edwards doing basically the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about restroom breaks.
Okay.
How does that work?
So you can see next to the door, there's a thing that says sign out.
Okay. In the bottom left corner?
Yes. That is where there was a chart where the students sign in and out to go to the restroom. But after the warm-up, students are able to ask to go. And typically Mr. Edwards would be the one, addressing who was going to the restroom. And they knew what order they were in. So once that person came back.
I was about to say, is it only one at a time out of the class?
Correct. And so they have to sign their name, where they were going, and the time that they left. And there was a pass that they would take when they left the room.
Okay. Is there any sort of procedure about what to do with the door?
When they left the room, typically the goal is to have them shut the door. So at Appalachia, we have a shut door policy, and a lock door. So when we open our doors in the morning, we're careful not to twist it to where it's able to be like opened from the outside.
Okay. So when they came back, how would they get back in?
Someone would have to let them back into the room.
Okay. Now, at some point during that morning class at September 4th, did something happen that was out of the ordinary?
Yes.
Tell me what you first noticed.
At 10:30ish.
Sure.
Okay. So I had just started, one of the timers had gone off. I don't quite remember where we were in the lesson. But I remember like hearing a loud like hit or something, and looking over. And
Looking over where?
toward the door.
Is that where the sound came from?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see?
I don't recall exactly what I saw, but I knew that I saw something that made me jump to the floor.
So it was something disturbing.
What?
Was it something disturbing that you saw?
Yes.
Was it a person that you saw?
Yes.
Okay. What about this person was disturbing to you?
He was holding a weapon.
Okay. Do you remember what this person looked like?
I don't.
And I'm sure you're not a gun aficionado. Maybe you are, but can you describe the weapon you're referring to?
It just was a long gun. The only thing I remember about the person is that he had like unnatural bleached hair.
Okay.
But that's all I could see.
Had you ever seen this person before?
No.
Okay. When you hit the floor, first off, on the thing about where were you on that chart?
I was at the board in between this first L.
So kind of in the middle of that L?
I was speaking to Tyler at seat 21.
Okay. And did you dive somewhere, or did you just drop to the floor where you were?
I dropped to the floor where I was, and I remember being faced towards the door and coming up in front of a bunch of book bags.
Okay. And what happened at that point?
So at that point, there was gunfire that started happening, and I could feel like debris and bullets going over my head.
What was happening inside the room?
Inside the room,
What were the other students doing?
the students began to duck down. A lot of desks were moving around. And it was hard to hear because once the gunshots started happening, it kind of messed my hearing to where it just, all you heard was like ringing for a little bit.
How many gunshots do you think you heard?
A lot.
Okay. And was it like a few and then a break and then a few and then a break, or was it?
No, it was like a rapid, the whole thing.
Were you able to see anything in reference to the shooter during this time?
No.
Okay. How long did the shooting last?
Seconds. It didn't feel like seconds, but it was seconds.
Okay. When you look up, was the shooter still in the room?
No.
Do you know how far he came into the room?
I think he just stepped 1 foot in.
Okay. Once he left, was the door open or shut?
Once he left, I remember starting to get up, and I saw the door closing, and Ronaldo was throwing chairs toward the door.
Okay. Tell me about what happened at that point. What's going on inside the room?
So I remember seeing Ronaldo throw the chairs and then dart to the corner of the room. When I stood up, I was starting to walk toward the door, and then I heard Natalie say, Mr. Hine had been shot. And when I looked at her and I looked down, I could see the pool of blood, and I could see her wound.
Was that Natalie Griffith?
Yes,
Okay. What wound did you see? Where was it?
it was on her wrist, up right above her wrist. I could see the bone exposed.
How was she? Was she conscious?
She was, yeah.
Okay. And was she saying anything or doing anything?
She just kept repeating that she had been shot, and so I grabbed her and laid her on the ground, and then I grabbed a nearby hoodie and wrapped it around her wrist to try to help the bleeding. And then I heard Melanie say that she had also been shot.
Is that Melanie Delira Castaneda?
Correct.
Okay. Am I pronouncing that name right? Is it Delira?
I think it's Castaneda.
Okay. And did you see her wounds?
I could see that she had been shot through the shoulder, and I saw the blood there, but I couldn't see the actual flesh of the wound.
Okay. And how was she?
She was very quiet. I think she was scared, but I've known Melanie for a little while before, and so she does have a very calm demeanor, and so she was very calm and quiet, and just grasping her shoulder.
Did she appear to be in pain?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice any wounds to Nautica Walton?
I did. So once I had laid Natalie down and I put Melanie next to Natalie, there was a group of girls that were already in the corner, and one of them, Hayden, had asked if we should move the smartboard in front of the door, and at that point I was trying to assess what was happening, and so I then saw Nautica on the ground, and she was quite frantic and grasping at the back of her leg. I couldn't see her wound or any blood, but she was in severe pain.
Okay. And did you see Taylor Jones?
I did not see Taylor Jones.
Okay. Were you aware of any injuries to Jackson Beaver or Ronaldo Vega?
I was aware that Ronaldo, after the police had come in, he had said something that he was also injured. And then when we had gotten out of the room and up to the top of the hill, Jackson had said that he asked me to look at the back of his leg, and he did have something lodged into the back of his leg.
Okay. Did you see Christian Angulo in the room?
Mm-hmm.
Where was he located at?
He was in front of the door. And he was on the ground.
What could you tell if he was alive or not?
He was alive. And Coach Edwards said that we needed to make a barricade around him after everything, all the shots had fired. And so they stacked desk around because he didn't want to move him. And while I was helping Natalie and Melanie and Nautica in the corner, there was a moment where me and Coach Edwards had looked at each other and said that they needed to come because it wasn't good. And when they came finally, they had pronounced him dead while we were here.
I'm going to show you some Mark States at number 30. Recognize that.
Yes, that's Christian.
Is that an accurate representation of Christian Angulo? You are on Interstate Exhibit number 39 in the evidence.
No objection. 39 is approved.
Could you tell where he had been injured at?
I didn't get close enough to him to see where he had been shot.
How long did y'all stay in that room before the police came?
It was quite a bit of time. I would say probably 20 minutes.
Okay. How did they get in the room, the police?
They had a key. Then they had to push through all of the stuff that they had piled in front of the door.
Y'all had barricaded stuff in front of the door? Okay.
Ronaldo did.
What did they do when they came in first?
They had their weapons drawn and were telling everyone to put their hands up, but I had stood up out of the corner and walked in front of the middle of the room and said, "No, we need help."
Okay. And did medical personnel start coming into the room?
They did not. So I had started to tell them where everyone that I knew was hurt. And they had, at the beginning, asked me to help carry Natalie because there was only a few of them. And then more ended up coming into the room.
Okay. So they took Natalie out?
I didn't see them take Natalie out. So when they came in the room, they flipped the lights on. And that's when the students had noticed Christian on the floor. And they knew he wasn't with us anymore. And so the students began to get really upset. And they had pronounced him dead, but we had to walk by him out the door.
Because he was right in front of the door?
Yeah, and Martin started holding Brittany's face and telling her she could do it. And I had to grab Hayden and tell her that it was going to be okay, just to get them out the door.
Where were they going?
They were exiting us up towards the right, up the top of the hill after you leave J Hall.
Okay. Did you stay at the top of the hill very long?
No, or I don't know. We were the first ones up on the top of the hill.
So y'all were like the first students evacuated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did other students start coming out from other classrooms?
They did.
Okay. Did y'all stay on the hill or did they move you somewhere else?
They started ushering us towards the football field.
Okay. And what happened when you got to the football field?
I started ushering students to the football field and waving my hands. And I came across two students that I had taught before. And they came up and hugged me. And they said, "Miss Ryan, why do you have blood on your hands?" And that's when I noticed that I had blood on my hands. And so I just hid my hands because I didn't know where to go wash them yet. And we got up to the top of the hill. And I can't really remember what they were wanting us to do, but we just got all the students to the middle of the football field.
At some point, did you realize that one of your students was missing?
Yes, a student approached me and asked me where Mason was. That they had looked online and saw that he was in my classroom. And so I began helping them look for him. And at one point I came across Miss Schumerhorn.
Mason's mother?
Yes.
Okay.
And we began looking for Mason, and Miss Lee, which was his advisor, came and helped start looking for him. And we were thinking that maybe he heard what happened and had ran.
Why did you think that?
Because he had done that before. Not in high school, but in his earlier education.
Does he have a learning disability?
He does.
Okay. How long did y'all look for Mason?
Hours.
It shows Mark Stay 68. As you realize this.
That's my sign in and out sheet.
Is that the piece of paper you said was on the board where kids would sign out to the bathroom?
Mhm.
Who was the last? Does it accurately reflect the sign-out sheets you had in your room that day?
It does.
Your Honor, Tender State Exhibit number 68 in the evidence.
No objection. All right, 68.
And who signed out last?
Mason.
Thank you.
No questions, John.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time